Yes, The Witcher Season 2 is finally upon us this weekend. It's a huge weekend for just geek culture. Spider-Man No Way Home, Nightmare Alley, and a brand new season of The Witcher. Woohoo! I'm living in heaven! What's going on, buddy? Welcome back to a brand new TV review. Today we're going to be discussing Netflix's first 6 episodes of The Witcher Season 2. Now, they were great to provide me for the first 6 episodes, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what episodes 7 and 8 are, because the first 6 episodes overall are way better than the first season, which I already really liked the first season because I'm a major fan of this show, but particularly the books and the games for The Witcher. I love Geralt of Rivia. I love going on these adventures and really much diving into this mysterious world. And when it comes down to fantasy shows, I am very picky with them, especially after we saw what Game of Thrones gave us. Game of Thrones gave us this large and sparring world that I hadn't felt that much passion from creators in such a while since maybe the first trilogy of Lord of the Rings movies. But now we have The Witcher. It is here. It's one of the best fantasy shows going on right now, and I'm here to give you guys my non-spoiler thoughts on Season 2, which I've already said is better than the first season. So make sure, guys, if you guys are new here and you love talking The Witcher, or just in general talking movies and TV on a daily basis, hit that like and subscribe button, as well as comment down below your guys' overall thoughts. Are you excited for this season? Do you love the first season of The Witcher? Were you disappointed? Let's have a conversation down below. Netflix's Season 2 of The Witcher, convinced by Yennefer's life was lost at the Battle of Sodden, Geralt of Rivia brings Princess Ciri to the safest place he knows, his childhood home. While the continent's kings, elves, humans, and demons strive for supremacy outside its walls, he must protect the girl from something far more dangerous, the mysterious power she actually possesses inside of her. Now, this, of course, brings back Henry Cavill as the title character, Geralt of Rivia, which I love. Henry Cavill, I think he's one of my favorite actors working today. Anytime he jumps into something, I'm going to be there first day. I loved his iteration of Superman. I love him as Geralt. I love just anything this guy brings because he always embodies and dives into the role no matter what the purpose or thematics is of that film. You know, we've seen him play a villain, we've seen him play a hero, we've seen him play this grunting man named Geralt of Rivia, and I've always found it to be interesting in there. And here, Season 2 actually kind of pushes it back, kind of start to understand a little bit more of him, because Season 1, it was a little bit hard and back. Yeah, he's this awesome badass that can kick a lot of ass, but who's the man under that? That's what Season 2 really much dives into, especially once you get to his home. Once you get to his home and you start to learn and meet a bunch of other fantastic characters, especially Vesemir, which I thought was perfectly recreated from the books into this show, and I love what they were able to do with Vesemir himself and the actor who portrayed him. The thing that I loved is hearing and learning about Geralt of Rivia and the Witchers in general, learning more about their past, how are Witchers created, what are Witchers indefinitely. You know, Season 1 touched on this, but never dove into it delightfully. And I found that this season really much not just opened up our title character to a lot more emotion and understanding his thoughts, but really much gave us who is this monster slayer, which I think was a big problem for a lot of people who had never read the books or the games. No one knew who Geralt was, but this Season 2 really dove into that, and it helps, thankfully, because this season is linear. The last season had this puzzle block kind of storytelling, which I appreciated. I didn't love it. I know a lot of other people loved it, and some people absolutely hated it. Season 2 is absolutely linear, top to bottom. There's none of this jumping around of trying to figure out the timeline, and it works. And it still leaves for some great surprises throughout the entire season, or in general, just the first 6 episodes that I got to check out. Rhea Allen, as well as Ciri, I thought was phenomenal as well. In this role as Ciri, being one of my also other favorite characters from the novels and the games, I love how she's able to bring this character to life. In Season 1, while I liked her, I didn't love her, but in here, actually seeing the trials and tribulations that she's going through to train herself in a sense to maybe even one day become a Witcher, I thought was excellent in the way that they handled it all. And while I really like Geralt and Ciri, my favorite character from Season 1 was Yennefer, and Anya once again proves why she is one of the biggest, strongest backbones of this entire series. So I'll be honest, for the first 3 episodes of her entire story for this season, I wasn't really feeling the story centered around her, but her performance was so damn good. It was the one element keeping me intrigued with this story until it finally started developing a little bit more within episode 4, 5, and 6. this. By that point, I was completely sold and reminded of why Yennefer is a phenomenal character inside this entire world. Love everything that's kind of going about them and the way that they're really intersecting all these different storylines all at once and making it work and not feel as puzzling and timeline-ish as the first season was. Returning this season is Anna Schafer as Triss, who I love Triss from the books, and I just continue to love what they do with Anna as a character in here, and especially the material they actually give Triss this time around actually really works to, again, developing Witcher himself, Geralt, but also developing everything around this world. That's one of the things that I loved about this. The world of The Witcher is expanding heavily. There's a smaller scale story at the same time of this, even though it is expanding everything around them. It has this found family vibe because obviously that is how Geralt came about, and same thing with Ciri this time around. I think when it comes down to fantasy shows, one of the things that really must be key is the score, the sound, and the atmosphere. And sometimes it feels a little bit cheap in those avenues, especially with a lot of fantasy shows now coming out about after the resurgence of fantasy on TV after Game of Thrones. In The Witcher, it continuously works, and in here, it really does. Of course, our favorite singer in the world, Joey Bater, returns, and he's great for the material given. I expected a little bit more of him in this season, but where he placed is really well done and adds, again, a lot to this world and what is going on in this season. The thing that season 1 got really well, and I thought season 2 even improved on it in select moments, was the monster and creature designs. Season 1 had some phenomenal ones, and in season 2, at first it felt like it was trying to start leaning into monster of the episode type thing. Oh, we gotta go here, do this. Oh, there's a monster. It starts to dive away from that, but in a grand way, and it didn't ever worry me. Where season 1 had monster vibes here and there, season 2 feels like it was interweaved perfectly into the story. And one of the things I loved is how they kept up the horror and atmospheric tone when you encounter these monsters inside this world. My last piece, and the thing I'm sure a lot of you guys are wondering, is how is the action? The action was a big standout in season 1, and the action continues to be a big standout in season 2. There's not as many sequences of action, I would say, in this season in particular, especially towards the back half. It kind of takes a little bit of a header. But the last episode I got to see, episode 6, the action sequence in there had my jaw on the floor and was probably the best action scene they have had yet. And the fact that there are 2 more episodes yet to see that I can't wait to experience with all of you guys on Friday when the show comes out, I'm freaking out of my mind stoked to see what they're going to be able to do in that season, because that's just going to be freaking awesome, because Geralt's a badass. What can we say? But the other monster action in here, of course, is also perfect. Before we get any further, guys, I do want to mention some of my cons for this, because again, while it's better than season 1, I still think it's not a perfect season. And one of the things that did hold back this season for me was the elf storyline. While it gets a little bit better towards the back half, I'm not that intrigued with the political element that they're trying to infuse within the show yet. I'm intrigued, but not in love. And anytime we're away from, say, Yennefer, Ciri, or even Geralt, I really do not care what is going on in the screen, and a lot of that is going to the elf stuff, which Yennefer is mixed into, and Yennefer was the big aspect of that, but there comes a point in the season where it more focuses in on that stuff than just what Yennefer is doing there, and that's where I kind of started to lose a little bit interest in this season. It's not too much, but it's enough to bother me, and I do think that sometimes it does clash some of the tones of what The Witcher is all about. I appreciate with what they're going for, following some of the book storylines, but I think it needs to be a little bit more interesting. Nothing wrong with the performances in there, just nothing to really latch onto yet, especially when everything going on with Geralt is the most intriguing aspect of it all. Witcher Season 2, yes, it's here. I've seen the first 6 episodes, and it's better than Season 1 in a lot of different ways. While it helps with the more linear path of its story that it's trying to tell, I was very much appreciative of all of that. The characters, the performances are great. I loved a lot of the newcomers that we got in here, but sadly the story, while I love everything with Geralt, Ciri, and Yennefer, I didn't love the political element they tried putting in here. It's not bad, it's just not totally grabbing my attention when everything else is so intriguing to me. I'm hoping in the last 2 episodes it does finally latch in and really bring me in. If not, I'm hoping season 3 can maybe right that wrong. But overall, besides that one little pacing issue I have with this show, I thought this was a way better season than season 1. And I already really dug season 1. And I really hope that we don't have to wait too long for season 3, because I can't get enough of this world. I love fantasy epics. I love the games. I love the books. And I can't wait to hear your guys' thoughts on season 2 of The Witcher. So all that said, so far for the episodes 1 through 6, I'm going to give The Witcher Season 2 an A-. So down below, guys, your guys' overall thoughts on the season. Do you love it? Do you hate it? Let's discuss it all down below, guys. Thank you once again for watching this. And of course, until next time, stay classy.